Okay, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Abna Owusuwa Nyanta. This is the second episode of We Need to Talk. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We look forward to discussing with you. We look forward to your questions, your comments, suggestions, and everything. Please make sure if you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please make sure to do so. Kindly share the link with a friend, with a family member, and let them join in because we are here to educate one another. Thank you so much. And so we are going to be talking with our special guest, Mr. Sandy Kusi, today. So I'm going to give him a chance to just tell us a little bit about himself. So, Sandy, tell us a bit about yourself.
All right. My name is Sandy Kusi. I'm 22 years old. I'm a college student
Loud.
studying computer science.
Talk loud.
Uh, I'm an active person. From part time, I do DoorDash and just like to be active. Like to experience new things, meet new people. And excited to be on panel today.
Okay, thank you so much for everybody that was with us or that have seen our first episode. We discussed about culture last week, and today we are going to talk again about culture. So, with our last guest, we spoke about culture from the perspective of an adult, somebody that lived in Ghana and is currently living in the US. And today we are going to talk about culture from the perspective of someone that was born and raised here in the US, but yet has African descent, or his parents are from Africa. His parents came when they were already adults, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where were you born and where were you raised?
All right. So I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Raised in Garland. Started off in Garland.
Okay.
Then moved to Fort Worth for a while to elementary school and middle school, and then moved back to Garland for high school and now college.
Okay. So are you, whenever you meet people when they ask you where you from, what do you say?
Usually I just say I'm from Dallas.
You just say you're from Dallas.
Yeah, because DFW is like everywhere.
Okay, so you tell them this because you were born here, right?
Yeah.
So you don't tell them that you are African.
Well, if they, yeah, usually it's funny. The most like because when they see me, they'll always assume, oh, where you from? It's also funny too because some people think I have an accent,
They
and
do?
yeah,
What kind of accent is that?
you'd be surprised. Most people say when they meet me for the first time, if I don't know them, they think I have an African accent.
An African accent.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Then I wonder what they would say if they met me. Because I know I have an African accent. Okay. So do you ever tell people you are African right on when you meet them, or does the conversation has to go a bit deeper for you to tell them about your African background?
Usually, I mean, if they ask, usually what they'll say is, like, yeah, like, where you from? And I'll say, I'm born here, but my parents are from Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, are you proud of your African background?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what you are proud of as an African.
Um, I mean, isn't like, I guess before, when you were saying it, because people, like, I mean, when somebody you don't know looks at you, they just see that, oh, like, they think, oh, he's like just a black or something like
African
that.
American.
Yeah, African American.
Okay.
But yeah, once like, and that's what they say. Like when they start talking to me, then that's when they'll pick up. Oh, like you sound like you have an accent. Like, are you from here or something like that? And yeah, I'll tell them like, oh yeah, I was born here, but my parents are born in West Africa, West African.
Okay.
So
So what are you proud of as an African? Before, I guess since you've been growing up, what is it that you've heard about Africa, or what is it that you know about Africa that makes you proud to be one?
to be okay. I would say the culture is like so rich. Like it's funny because like a whole bunch of things that you don't. Well, being born here and raised here, like a whole bunch of things that is just like different. Like some of the things that we say and we do is like completely different than
Than in Africa?
yeah, in Africa.
Okay.
And
So tell me a bit about some of those things that is different that you're proud of as an African.
I guess for one thing on the hospitality
Okay.
aspect, it's very important and like well looked upon to be very hospitable.
Mhm.
And
As an African or as an American?
well, I would say as both, but more so in this case as an African
Okay.
because just a little allude like going to Ghana and just how people treated you there and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's almost an insult to like not say hi to people if and not acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Even though like as an American you see people, you walk past people all the time and like
Without acknowledging.
yeah, you wouldn't look twice or say anything. And I mean it's not even that you're being rude, it's just you like
That's how it is here.
yeah.
Okay. So you're proud of being an African because of hospitality.
Yeah. And just
Okay.
how we can interact with each other and even like different races and different people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you just mentioned that going to Ghana. So you've been to Ghana
Yes.
how many
Yes.
times?
It's my first time in March.
Okay. So let's talk about before you went in March. How was it? What kind of perception did you have about Ghana before you went? Before actually experiencing it for yourself? What did you think about it?
Okay, so to be honest, like what you see on TV, all you they're just painted to be kind of like poor and like underdeveloped and I mean from the outside looking in, you won't think there's much there. I'll just be completely honest. Like most people, even when you bring up the topic of Africa, they know like three places: South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya or something like that. But God, like when I tell people I'm from Ghana too, they're like, "Oh, well." It's people who don't know. They're like, "Oh, where's that?" Or like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, well, then the general thing is say, oh, okay, West Africa."
Yeah.
But
Okay. So were you before you went, were you looking forward to going?
I mean, I was honestly like I was anxious. I was excited to finally go and see like how it was because I mean people say different things, but
Yeah.
from like everybody I talked to, friends and family, everybody was always had like just good reviews and just like, oh man, like when you go there, you're not gonna want to come back
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So going there, yeah, it's like hearing
You
that
liked it?
made yeah, that really made me want
Okay.
to go.
So tell me, before you went, did you tell any of your friends that you were going?
Yeah.
What was their response? What did they tell you? And I want you to tell me from a friend that was not from Ghana or has never been to Ghana, what were their response?
Okay, well, people were like the first thing is kind of surprised
Okay.
and
In
just
a good way or in a bad way?
I would say kind of, I guess, kind of in a bad way, but
Okay.
just like I mean, because yeah, from what people see who don't know, they'll think like, oh, well, like why would you want to go there and stuff like that? Like, oh, all of the people are trying to come here and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, they're just just don't be careful out there, don't that type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So what about your friends that were from Ghana? What was their response when you told them that you were going to Ghana for the very first time?
They were really happy for me to be able to go and experience that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, anybody who I talked to that had been there before and could remember.
They were happy for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're about to dive into his actual adventures when he got to Ghana. So here is how old were you when you went?
I was 21.
Here is a 21-year-old man from Ghana, or his parents are from Ghana, born and raised there. Part of his family are from Ghana, his siblings, but he's never been to Ghana. All he had or all he knew was that he his parents came from there, and all he knew about Ghana was basically what he heard from friends that were from there, family members that were from there, and what he sees on the news. And then one thing too that I like to chip in, when you were saying that, when you mentioned that you're from Africa, there are a few countries that they mentioned. And then one other thing that I have taken notice is when you tell people you are from Africa, especially people that are not from Africa, they automatically think Africa is a country. So Africa is not a country, it's a continent that is made up of many different countries, beautiful countries, different things to offer, natural resources. I mean, I can't begin to think or speak of all the things that Africa has to offer, but people normally just confuse or misunderstand it. And then they think that, oh, Africa is just one country like the US and it's maybe states. So you say, I'm from Ghana, and somebody will be like, oh, I know somebody from Kenya. Do you know them? I don't know them because Kenya is not in Ghana. It's not next to Ghana. So I wouldn't know. So we are doing this show to educate people. So I'm just saying this just to give a little bit of education on what Africa is about and what Africa is. So we are coming back to you. So you got to Ghana for the very first time with just knowledge from different people, from different perspectives. Some are good, some are bad. So the minute you got to the airport, what was your reaction? What did you see? What was your reaction? How did you feel?
Well, honestly, so I remember getting there. I was just like, wow, like the atmosphere is different.
Okay.
Like, and just like I think we first got to Accra.
Accra.
Yeah, and I was just like, dang, this feels like kind of like California. Like it was nice, like just the stores and stuff everywhere. I was like, well, dang, this feels just like the US. Like what are these people talking about?
Yeah.
And yeah, we went to this restaurant, got my favorite fried rice, of course.
Food.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was cool. Like, yeah, it was like what I had first conceived about it, any like doubts or stuff like that, just like completely left my mind. I was just like, okay, so yeah, it's really, it's, you have to go there and experience it. You can't just hear from just like what
Somebody else.
yeah, what somebody's saying.
Okay. And then I know, so when you get to the airport in the US or any airport for that matter, you meet custom officers, people that work in the airport. And in the US, definitely they speak English. And sometimes you get people that speak Espanol to help you. But you get to Ghana and there are people that speak English. And like you said earlier, they probably had an accent different from yours. And then you spoke to them and you also had an accent different from theirs. So how was the conversation like? How, like the first person that you met that was not familiar to you, that worked at the airport, how was the conversation like?
It definitely it's harder to communicate with them, especially when like yeah, you haven't talked to you haven't been there, you haven't talked to somebody who I guess like English is not their first language, like it was for me. But yeah, no, it wasn't. It was yeah, definitely was more difficult, but you still could. I mean, we still could pick up on things that we're trying to communicate. So just like trying to communicate with anybody with like a different accent, you will still pick up some things and stuff like that. It definitely was more difficult and will be more difficult, but over time.
You were able to understand over time.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. I know, and I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm not saying it in a negative light, but you have a darker skin. So when you got to Ghana, did people come to you freely because you had a darker skin, or were they able to pick out that you were not from there immediately they saw you?
No, I think like the first misconception, they think that like I'm just a local Ghanaian there and stuff like that. But then is when I start to speak is when they're like, yeah, this
one is not from here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So did you get a lot of people speaking like the local language to you first, and then when you responded, then they realized you weren't from there? Okay. So when they start speaking Twi to you, how was your response? What would you say?
I mean, I honestly, every time it happens, I always try to see if I can kind of pick up things. Sometimes it works, but for the most part, like if it's very, like if it's a long phrase or something, yeah, I probably, honestly, I won't be able to pick it up. So I'll probably I'll try to say um, like yeah, I try to kind of like shake my head, like, no, I'm not getting you, or they'll say like, oh, do you understand? And I'll be like, no, not really, or like some small,
Some words you can
yeah,
pick up.
so yeah.
Okay. All right. So did you learn any new words when you were back in Ghana?
Um, yeah, I would say yes and no. Like, I feel like now it's easier to pick up on certain things,
Okay.
but as far as like in depth, like this means that, and well, yeah, actually, yeah, I did,
You did.
yeah,
You want to share some of those words to us?
yeah. Well, the one thing I remember, my one of my aunts was saying that I'm probably gonna butcher it, probably,
It's okay.
but so in from my mom's out of the children that my mom had, I'd be capture.
Catch you.
Yeah,
Okay. You know what that means?
yeah.
What does that mean?
It means I'm the youngest of.
Okay. Well, good job. Give me 5. Proud of you. You learned something there. Okay. All right. So, in your whole stay in Ghana, tell me 3 things that you like and 3 things that you didn't like.
Okay, I'll do the likes first. So, first thing, yeah, obviously the hospitality, how just how happy everybody feels,
Yeah.
just like natural. And that was good. Second thing, the food. It's so much. Just oh my gosh, it just food is always like a top thing for any place that I go and visit. So it has good food. It's always a plus. And I would say for the last thing, I would say like the different places that we got to go. Like yeah, I went to the beach and oh my gosh, Labadi Beach. You guys have to go.
Okay. And now your 3 things that you didn't like.
Um. Okay. Well, I'll say the timing difference.
Okay.
So it didn't take me too long to get used to, but it just like the jet lag. It's I haven't experienced that in a while. So
Okay.
um, well, it didn't happen that often, but I guess when they say like doomsday,
Doomsaw.
yeah, when the
Okay.
yeah, just
You know what doomsaw means?
yeah,
What does it mean?
like no lie.
Yeah. So whenever, so he didn't like the doomsaw, which is like the tree term for when the lights go off, and I mean when it goes off in the whole neighborhood for some time before it comes back on. Okay. So what was the 3rd thing that you didn't like?
Um, I mean, I guess well, it was kind of like I wasn't prepared in this aspect, but I got like a whole bunch of mosquito bites, and but
Those are your 3.
yeah,
Okay, so we are talking to Mr. Sandy Kusi today. He is a uh, Ghanaian American, but he was born and raised in the US. And we are discussing his experiences when he went to Ghana for the first time in March of this year. So the 3 things that he said he liked the hospitality, the food, and what was the 3rd thing?
just like the different places we were.
And the different places that he was able to visit. And the 3 things that he didn't like was the mosquitoes, the lights that went out, and the 3rd thing was the time difference. So Ghana is 6 hours ahead of us in Texas right now. We in Texas are in the central time, and Ghana is 6 hours. So you can just imagine going from 6 hours behind to 6 hours ahead. So that kind of messes up your sleep and your routine and all that. So we understand that. So, Mr. Sandy, for some of the viewers that are watching us today, some were born here and raised there. They have African parents, not necessarily Ghanaian parents, but African parents. And they've never been back to their home country, their parents' country before. What would you say to them now that you've had the chance to actually go and experience? What would you say to them?
Well, I know in everything is crazy now with the pandemic, of course. But I'll say anybody who could potentially have the opportunity to go back to like their family's country, that they should go. I mean, even regardless of what people have said or what you've seen or what you've heard, as far as yeah, it's safe. I think everybody should go back and at least see for themselves before they, you know, perceive it as some type of way.
Okay. Would you ever go back to Ghana
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
to visit like once, or like it's going to be a continual thing that you're going to be doing?
Definitely a continual thing.
Okay, that's good. All right. So now we are going to talk more about life and living it in the US. So you have Ghanaian parents that are born and raised in Ghana, but here you are born and raised in the US, Dallas, Texas to be precise, right?
Yes.
So I know you have friends that are also American, but their parents are from America. So they know the culture that's here. So tell me, what are some of the challenges that you see growing up in an African or a Ghanaian home? Or let me not say challenges. What are some of the differences that you see in growing up in a Ghanaian home versus growing up in an American home?
Okay, well, I'll say the perspective is probably the main thing because um, the way, like, some certain things in the American home, like some things that you might do that you think are normal, maybe in an African home, they don't agree with that. That's not necessarily, they don't do things that way, or they've never been like shown things like that. Uh, so that could be, I could see that could lead to some potential disagreements and
Okay.
stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's just, yeah, pretty much just different. You know, I guess the way like you wanna sometimes like in an American home, the way people express themselves and stuff like that, and so it might not be perceived as in the same way in the African home.
Okay, so give me a little example, like when you say the way things are perceived in an African home versus how things are perceived in an American home. So give me like a specific example that can happen in an American home that will not be acceptable in an African home.
I'm in an American home, but wouldn't be acceptable in an
Mm.
African home. I guess like maybe if you were coming, you were bringing somebody to your house,
Mhm.
like I guess like unexpected or something like that.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and then so yeah, you maybe they came home with you after school or something like that. You just bring them home, and yeah, but nobody knows. Like I don't know, maybe your parents had made you a dinner or something, and then you just show up with an extra person
Mhm.
and um, with you. Yeah.
So So in an American home, you can just randomly bring a friend or anybody over that you want to without having to inform anybody in the home that that person is going to come over. But what you're saying is that in an African home,
Yeah.
it is not allowed. I mean, you can do it, but it's not going to be regarded in the same manner that it would be in an American home to just randomly bring a friend over without informing your family or your parents, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in growing up in an African home, what are some of the things that you've learned that you believe has helped you so far?
I would say just basically being focused, and I think one thing in an American home, and just like what I noticed in general is you try to like just being in the school system and stuff like that. They really try to like people and with kids, they try to like do whatever they can to fit in and stuff like that. So I think it's I would say honestly, it's easier in American home to succumb to like the peer pressure
Mhm.
of like different kids and this is like oh this is what everybody's doing now and stuff like that. So like that it's okay uh, like yeah maybe in American home they'll try to argue like that's okay.
Mhm.
But like within the African home, if they've already kind of set down like okay, well, no, this like we don't do this. This is like this is not even in the question
Mhm.
or something like that. Like you won't even like certain things you wouldn't even worry about or it wouldn't even be like an issue because you already know like well no we already said like we're not going to do that. So
Okay. So, in what you're basically saying is that there is a structure in an African home where some things are not permissive, so it keeps you more focused than in an American home. In
yeah,
some American home, let's just say that because
yeah,
even in an American home, there are different type of parenting, and in some African homes, there are different type of parenting. But then there are certain structures in an African home that kind of keeps you grounded, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you said you did mention that peer pressure. So how do you handle peer pressure from your friends in school or around, and then still be able to do according to how things go in your African home? Do you understand the question? Or should I explain it a little further?
Could you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so you have peer pressure coming
Yeah.
as a teenager or as a young adult,
Mhm.
and you are coming from an African home where things are not permissive. So even in an American home, there are certain things that you can do and you might get away with it. It doesn't really matter. So being from an African home, how do you handle peer pressure, knowing that even some of the smallest things are not gonna be allowed in your home?
I would say like you just think like I'll say like for me personally, I do like the reverse engineer, and you start thinking like, okay, is it really gonna be worth it at the end of the day? This short term pleasure or whatever the case may be. Do you really want to go that far where there's a possibility that things don't go exactly how you planned? I mean, we all know most of the time things don't go as
It
planned.
really does not.
So yeah, you just when you start, and I mean most of that too comes with like as you get older and you start seeing things. But um, yeah, that's how. So that's nowadays that's what keeps me away from things like. Um, and then yeah, of course, once you've done things and see that well, when I did that, this is what happened. So obviously, I mean, if I don't do this again, at least that won't happen. So yeah, I would say like you just think about yeah, I guess you say you kind of have to be pessimistic. You think about what's the worst thing that could happen, and just let that kind of um, I don't want to say scare you, but let that like uh, keep you focused on you know.
Okay. Okay, well, we are here trying to learn about culture. Last episode, we were able to learn about it from the perspective of a parent that is from Ghana that came here in his younger age. And so he kind of learned a little bit about America when he was younger. And then he has children that are born and raised in America. Today, we are speaking to Mr. Sandy. He was born and raised here in the US, but then his parents are Ghanaians. And so things are a bit different than what he sees with his friends. So tell me, were you treated any different by your family because you were born and raised here? Or did you get the same type of treatment with your siblings that were from Ghana?
Oh yeah, I would say it's the same. I would say that it was like I guess when I first started uh, living with them, I had to there's something like just get like acquainted and adjusted to each other because obviously I had been kind of brought up a different way. So then coming into like a Ghanaian household, just like some of different things that um, we just had to work out and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say like overall, yeah, definitely I was treated the same way.
Okay. And do you feel like how you were being raised in the house was like you understood it the same way that your siblings that were from Ghana understood it? Or do you think that there were different meanings to each of you guys?
I would say at first, yeah, personally, I didn't understand it because, yeah, just being like brought up a different way, and it was different. But as time went on and stuff, it started to make more sense, and I started to like, yeah, just like open my mind and start thinking like, okay, well, you know, uh, yeah, like this is what works and stuff like that, and obviously um, the end goal is for me and well, yeah, for all of us to be, you know, good adults and something in society. So it's obviously not like, you know, when you're being disciplined or something, it's not because like it's not like in spite of you, but it's for your betterment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that you would have done different knowing what you know now, being from an African home?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what are some of those things?
Um, well, I definitely like just I guess in high school and stuff like that, just how I perceived it and just like trying to make friends and stuff like that. I wouldn't have spent so much time focused on that because I mean to be honest, I'm like what I tell everybody. Most of the people that I was with in high school and stuff like that, I mean you don't really talk to them. You might have them on Facebook or something like that, but they're not like the close friends and stuff like that. It's more the people who you are around in like your church and like closer like your families and stuff like that.
Okay, okay. Well, that's very good. Please remember that we're going to be taking questions and comments, or we're going to be reading questions and comments 5 minutes before the show ends. So if you have any questions, please be writing them down or typing them in the comment section. And please remember to like the videos as well. Subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. And please remember to share with a friend or a family. Thank you for joining us. We are still talking about culture. So now we're going to talk a little bit about education because culture also have a role that it plays in the education, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said, what did you say you're studying in school right now?
Computer science.
Okay, and when you were trying to decide or when you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do in terms of your educational career,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you thought about from I guess from being from a Ghanaian home? Or did you even think about anything in regards to your background? Or did you just go straight ahead and just decided just because?
Well, the first thing when I first was thinking about what I wanted to do, I wanted to be like in like psychology and like psychiatrist or something. But then, yeah, honestly, I had to self reflect and say like, honestly, I don't have a problem with school, but there's no way I can be in there for all of that time through medical school and stuff like that. And so then I started thinking, I started talking to my brother and like Charlie, and you were saying like the way that the market and everything is going, that like she's looking towards like IT and like computer science and things like that, or like artificial intelligence. And at first, I wasn't really thinking that much of it, stuff like that. But I mean, oh yeah, honestly, they made some good points, and I started thinking like, yeah, that actually, I think it'll be like a good career path to go into. So
Okay. Do you think or do you believe that your African parents put pressure on you, or in general terms, do you believe that African parents pressure their children into picking a educational careers?
I think they do to a certain extent. I think that, I mean, because you have you have to think you're hearing like different things, like a whole bunch. Like some people go to school and get like all of these degrees and still can't find jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there's like a lot of outward stuff that they're also hearing. And I will say, I do think that they are pressured into like yeah that they
The
do
African
pressure.
parents do pressure.
Yeah,
Did you ever get pressured? I know we take questions at the very end, but somebody is asking something that relates to what you're saying right now.
yeah.
Monica is asking, did you get pressured from your parents about going into the medical field when you were trying to decide what you wanted to do in school?
Yeah. I mean, kind. It was. I won't say it was pressure. I would say, for me personally, it was a suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the difference between being like the suggestion and the pressure?
Well, he was. Well, okay. My father said that. Yeah. Well, like you've no, you're not interested in nursing and stuff like that because you know they'll always have a job and things like that. And I don't even remember how the conversation went, but yeah, it was saying that, and I think at the time though I was still into like psychology and stuff like that. So I don't know how the rest of the conversation went, but now, yeah, I mean, he never said anything again.
Okay. So now what you're wanting to do, is that something that you're doing because like you're passionate about it and you believe that this is what you're going to do and enjoy for the rest of your life? Or are you doing it because you got the suggestion, as you said,
Yeah.
from your older brother and part of your family?
I would say it's about, you could say like 75% suggestion and then like 25% like yeah, I want to do it.
Okay, that's a high number, 75% suggestion and 25% your own preference. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. At any point where the money start going down in that field,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, so it's not like yes, I want to do it. It's not the end all be all though. I don't think like I'm going to be in the industry for like I guess my entire life, but I wanted to, you know, kind of get in and get experience, get my feet wet and stuff. But eventually, I wanted to like start a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have some viewers that are younger, we have some viewers that are older. If you could actually decide, or if you nothing else mattered and you could do what you actually wanted to do, what is it that you actually want to do?
Well, okay, I would say, um, well, yeah, if all things are on the table, then something with, I would say like, yeah, like physical, like sports or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you for those that are watching, will you say in deciding your career path, this one, remember when we had a conversation before the show, I told you that we're just going to be speaking the truth on here because we're trying to educate. We want parents to understand and we want the younger ones to also understand the perspective of each other, right?
Yeah.
So would you say that when you are deciding when you're deciding what you want to do with your life, should you be more concerned about what you like more, or should the advice and the suggestions from the family be much more?
I would say, I mean, I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. If you're trying to do this thing like for the rest of your life and you know you really want to do something on like something that you are really passionate about and stuff like that, then I would say yes, you should listen to you know their advice. But at the end of the day, it's you're going to be the one who's doing it. So then, yeah, with that case, you should do like what you're really passionate about.
From your own experience, do you believe that African parents, would you say that they actually do a good job in communicating and trying to learn the needs, the wants, and then come in with suggestions? Or would you say that they just say what they want or what they see or what they understand and just leave it at that?
I would say, yeah, it's more of they kind of just tell you like this is what you should do, and that's and that's the expectation. And I mean, I understand because that's probably the way that they were raised and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the younger generation goes, things are changing. So I won't like completely discredit that and say like that's not effective, like that's not helpful. But I would say that yeah, I think that's one thing that
That you
they could look
improve.
into. Yeah,
They can improve on it
yeah,
in communicating more to know what uh the person want to do, and then try to see what, because you're talking about sports,
yeah,
that when I asked you what would you really want to do if you had, I mean, you didn't have to think about anything else, but then at the end of the day you still have to think about everything else.
yeah,
But then when you say you like sports, there are different type of career path that you can choose with that. And then you can still factor in the money aspect, the growth aspect, and all that. So when parents actually communicate and see where the interests are, there are so many things. It doesn't have to be just one thing. Like, just because somebody likes to work in the hospital doesn't mean they want to work with blood. Somebody just want to do the paperwork. Somebody just want to clean the hospital. Somebody just want to be the one that communicates information to other departments. So it's not just a one thing. So what we are learning today is that parents, especially our African parents, we love the fact that you guys are so much concerned about our successes and our future and all that. But as we are growing, as the younger ones are growing, they start to learn about themselves. They begin to talk or know more about their interests. So it's going to be wonderful for parents to sit with their children, talk with them, learn their interests, learn their dislikes and their likes, bring in their experience as parents, give them advice, and then look at different options that are available and give that to a child, because that is educating, that is giving knowledge, that is giving power, that is also teaching them to be independent. Because when your child grows up, they're not always going to call you on the phone and ask you, what do I do? What do I do? But in doing all these little things that sometimes our parents maybe don't do it, it kind of also doesn't help, because then it does not make us self-dependent. It makes us more dependent on others, which as we're growing, we need to break out of. So now we've talked about education, let's talk about relationship, because regardless if if we mention it or not, it's happening. I believe even in elementary schools, little kids are saying, that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend. They don't understand what it is, but they've heard it, they know it, and they talk about it. So now let's talk about relationship. How was relationships perceived in an African home growing up?
I would say
Wait, before you answer that, tell me your definition of a relationship, because I don't want us talking about something, but then
yeah.
we're probably not on the same page. So what is your definition of a relationship?
I mean, a relationship can be with like I would say like a friendship, but then you also have like yeah, boyfriend and girlfriend aspect, which is more
Okay.
intimate.
Okay, now we're talking about the boyfriend and girlfriend aspect, because a relationship like friendship, those are typically not like uh it doesn't bring any explosions in the homes, but boyfriend and girlfriend are like the hot
Yes.
topics in the home. So tell me about relationship, boyfriend girlfriend relationship in an African home. At
Um,
what age did your parents talk to you about, or did they make it seem like it was okay for you to even have a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
I would say all of that. I guess it really started like 16, 17 for me.
Okay.
But they like I get, and I think it's different for me and a guy too. It kind of like I would say like with the guys, they're kind of like soft. Like, oh yeah, they're kind of like expecting you to have like a couple girlfriends or something
A
like that.
couple. When you say a
No,
couple, how do you mean a couple of girlfriends at the
not
same
like
time?
not like actual true relationship, but kind of like um I guess like people you're dating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is dating in the mind of a young person?
Um. Well, to be honest, I would say you can't really. Yeah. I mean, if you guys are like talking, I'd say like consistently for maybe I'd say at least like 3 and 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like you guys have gone out a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's like a relationship.
Okay. Okay. So in dating is just talking, nothing else.
Well, yeah, I would say like and going out.
Okay. So I mean, like, there's no physical, nothing going on, right?
Yeah, for dating.
What is the next step of the dating?
And then yeah, that's like a relationship when you guys are like exclusive.
So when you are exclusive, what are some of the things that you do?
Um, well, I mean, if you want to do like nitpicky things, you could on Facebook change your status to in a relationship,
Okay.
so and so. Uh, well, I get and yeah, if somebody asks you like, are you single? Then you would say no, I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are still just talking, no physical something, no kissing,
Or no, in like
none of that.
yeah, in a relationship, yes.
You can kiss.
Yeah.
And what else? That's it? In a
Uh,
relationship?
oh yeah, you are like going out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your experiences, right?
Mhm.
You're 22 now. In your experience, what would you tell a young person right now about dating? Would you advise your younger ones to date when they're younger, or would you tell them to wait?
I would say it would be better to wait at least for the guys. I would say they have to have their own car, and yeah, and so at least like for a boy, 16 minimum, and that's I would say that's not even ideal unless they have a job too, because it's I think that's like as we stray further away from like the traditional setting, it's it's crazy the stuff you hear about like kids going out and dating now. Now it's like when you go out on a date, the you can uh you'll do Dutch. It's like 50
What is
50.
that?
Yeah, it's like the one person pays their half or their side and then the other person pays their side. But I mean
So
you
wait, so you drive to pick somebody's daughter on a date,
yeah,
and then when you guys eat food
yeah.
that you invited the person to come so you could go eat,
Mhm,
then you split the bill and they have to pay for theirs.
mhm.
Are you charging them for gas fee too when you guys are going back
I
home?
mean, personally, I don't agree with it, but that's what I would say. It's best for from the talking about the boy right now.
Mhm.
They have to be at least 16, have a car and a job. So at least if you're going to go through if you're going to go to the extent to take ask somebody out, at least you can pay for both of you guys to go somewhere. And yeah,
Okay, so now we are talking about relationships and dating. Sandy said he will recommend that you have to be at least 16 with a car and a job.
for the boys,
For
the
the
boys.
for the boys, yeah, they're still boys at that age. That's why they're splitting bills. But even at that age, I'm sure most of you don't would not have the money to even purchase your own car and take somebody out on a date. So you're gonna have to go through your parents. So how do parents respond to that? How do you guys like have conversations? Like, does parents have conversations? You said you're speaking to me from being a guy. So
Yeah.
does your parents sit down and talk to you at the age of 16 or 15 and say, okay, Sandy, so now you're 15, I know that you have feelings, you're going to start talking to a girl or something, and so if you're going to go out, let me know, let me fill your gas. I mean, if you're taking somebody's daughter on a date and you can't even fill your own gas, is it
Yeah.
even necessary for you to be dating?
Well, and that's what I said. That's like, if you are really that ready and anxious to get into that, then yeah, I would say those are at least that's like the standard. But no, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for somebody who is 16. I would say even it's best to be like 18. But I'm saying if you're going to like,
Okay.
if you're just so anxious to get out onto the market,
out onto the market. Okay, at
Yeah, sure.
16,
Yeah,
some people don't even have driving license, so parents
that's
have to
true.
even drive you there.
That's
So,
true.
okay, um, being a girl, I
Yeah.
mean, because today my guest is just a guy that's from an African home, but me, I'm a girl from an African home. I know dating was never something that was discussed. But then you get to a certain age that marriage is being delayed and parents start asking questions. But that is going to be another episode. That is going to be a topic that I'm going to have a very special guest come discuss with us about. But today we're just kind of looking a little bit into dating. So parents, you, Sandy, from your experiences and all, believe that you should at least have a job, have a car, and then be able to date somebody and be also paying your phone bill if you're going to be talking to somebody's daughter. If
Yes.
I would personally say if you can afford all those and your parents are going to have to pay all that, then you're not ready. And if they're going to do that, then they also have the choice to pick the girl for you because after all, their money is going to be what is sponsoring that relationship. Speaking of sponsors, O&O Signature is the sponsor of this show. So please remember to contact us for all your African wear needs, accessories, and everything. Thank you. And so Sandy, all these younger people that feel like job in terms of job, because we're about to round up, they want to get a job. I want to work. I want to drive. I want to do this. I want to do that. What would you advise them?
Okay. Well, I'll say think, have begin with the end in mind. So if you're wanting to get a job, I mean, I think it's good for like young people to be working, but like maybe during the summer and stuff like that. Like if you're 16 and stuff like that, and you're not paying any bills or anything, I don't necessarily think you need a job going. Like if you're in like high school or something like that, maybe for the summer is okay and stuff. Like you have to save up and get a car or something, but um, yeah, unless you're paying some type of obligation or bills, I don't see why a 16-year-old.
I mean, you did mention that 16, if you have a job and all that, you're going to you're going to be able to date. So maybe there's a 16-year-old there that want to date so bad that they want to get a job. So that way they can afford to buy a car. So
That's
they
fine.
can take somebody's daughter on a date and split the bill. If you're doing that, I advise you, please, that is not gentlemanlike. As we're educating ourselves, please educate yourself. If you're going to take somebody's daughter out, please have the decency to pay for the food because after all, you're inviting them to go out with you. I'm sure they have plenty of food in their homes and they can enjoy that in the comfort of their homes. So be a gentleman because our parents are not raising us to be anyhow. They're raising us to be better people too. So please be a gentleman. And for the women, if and for the little young girls, sorry, if any boy is taking you out and splitting the bill, split the number. Don't call him back. Don't keep that number. Let him go learn something better and come back. Okay. What were you wanting to say?
I was just gonna make a point that that could be like another misconception, like per se in an American home,
Mhm,
they might grow up and see that they might think that's normal now because that's what people are doing.
mhm.
But obviously, like in the African home,
It doesn't work
yeah,
like that.
you're not going to be hearing from the girl again if she's expected
You
to pay
sure
half
are
of the bill.
not. You really are not.
Yeah.
So, Sandy, we're going to read some comments and then we are going to read some questions. So, for those that have questions, this is the time that we are going to read it. And I know that we kind of hit on some topics that we need to discuss more. But trust me, this show is going to bring all that to you and we're going to discuss it. This is not the very end of it. So please don't feel like, oh, you don't talk more about this. We're going to talk more about it. But now we're going to read through our comments and our questions. So if you have anything, please post it there and we are going to be talking more. Okay, so we are starting from the very beginning. Mr. Leonard said, fire. I guess that means lit, right?
Yeah.
In terms, okay. And Alma had smiley face, smiley face. Mr. Francis said, hi, everyone. It's an Aprempe club for us. Thank you. Alma said, I was shocked and happy. Tina Frampoma said, I'm so happy. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Benghazi. Ares said, and a happy new year. Smile, oh yes, smile. Young Prince said, I'm just so proud to be an African. I'm so happy to hear that. Monica said, great job. Sandy, Young Prince said, long time no see. I like this show so far. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Monica said, proud of y'all. Anonymous said, Young Prince said, girlfriends are not accepted in an African home. Monica said, did you feel the pressure of going into medical field? I believe we answered that question. Anonymous said, good question, Monica. Gloria, thank you. Anonymous said, what do you really want it to do? We answered that. Amma said, African parents have a tendency of dismissing their children's aspirations just for the sole purpose of wanting to relieve theirs in ours. And she said, that's absurd. That is going to be a conversation for another day that we're going to sit and talk about it, Amma. Priscilla Richardson says, Sandy is a good guy. A shy guy. Great job done, guys. Anonymous said a couple. Anonymous said Abna is crying. Monica said, what is your perspective on dating versus relationship? We talked a little bit about that. Amy said, this new era of dating is confusing to me. Then when does the marriage part happen? Ask me that again, girl. Priscilla Richardson said, the way Abna is looking at him, though. Oh, Amma said, laugh out loud. Young Prince said, I say, follow your heart and your dreams. Monica said, let's start with getting a driving license first. Of course, if you're dating and you don't have a driving license, sir, continue with charts on your phone, okay? Or do WhatsApp and Instagram. Monica said, sorry. Anonymous says, so what if you have feelings for someone before 18? Read your Bible and drink lots of water. And Monica said, hands up, yes. Matilda said, kudos, Abna, keep it up, thank you. Esther said, what if your parents don't let you date at 16? Our parents would never.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the girls.
Yeah, but we're going to bring somebody else that's going to be here to talk from the perspective of a girl. So don't worry, we've got you.
Someone more qualified.
Hi guys, I'm Ella Prempe, just so you know. Amma said, Abna, please let's discuss the problems of dating relationship in an African home. Tina Frampoma said, I think 16 years is too early to get into a relationship. At that age, you don't even know what love is all about. Monica said, if he don't pay, he will be washing the dishes at the back of the restaurant. Amma laughed. Esther said, I'm so gone. Abigail said, donkey ghetto. I know you will let him wash dishes. Anonymous said, to be honest, African parents don't let you date. By the time you can start dating, you're already in danger zone, 27 to 35 and rushing to get married. Amma said, I'm sane. Esther said, if he doesn't pay, I will tell him I want to use the restroom and leave. Okay. Esther said, Jen said, is Amma repping live from 2 hours away? Okay, thank you for repping. Abigail said, great job, Abna. Thank you. JAA said, no job, no date. Thank you for the show. Josephine said, dating at 16. As parents, we can try to overlook that, but in today's generation, parents can't even prevent that because that will only mean that children do that secretly, which is even more dangerous. That's very true. Afia Chua said, I disagree, Abna. Going out with someone should be consensual. It's two people going out, not the guy taking the girl out. And Chua, I believe if a guy if you're going out with just a casual friend, like if it's boys going out, that's fine. But if it's a guy picking up a girl to go out, that's a date. And if it's a date, the guy has to pay. And Young Prince said, dating comes with responsibility for the guys. Yes. JAA said, date God first. Then you'll know how to date someone's daughter or son. Thank you. Ella said, yeah, my mom is right. Laugh out loud. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for our conversation. I know that there are so many questions, comments, and topics that we we can actually start talking about from just what we've said today. But don't worry, we're going to have those conversations. Remember that we need to talk every other Sunday on UTV. I also like to tell you about O&O Signature. We sell African wear for men, for women, for children, and accessories from beads, necklaces, earrings, waist beads, anklets, purses, sandals for men, for women, and for everybody of every age group. Also, please check out my own guy sponsor, or the guy that is actually making the music to promote the show. His name is Cool Boy. When you go on YouTube and type Cool Boy Hallelujah, that is the song. That is actually the theme song for the show. We're working on putting it all together. And also, if you like to advertise or market, be a sponsor, please feel free to call me 469-769-2306. Again, 469-769-2306. Sandy, before you go, anything you want to say?
No, thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed my time with you. Please tune in again December 20th at 3 p.m. Central Time, because we're going to talk. Have a wonderful evening. Please remember to subscribe and to share the page. You can also check us out on our social media. On Facebook, you type Needs to Talk. It's Needs, NEEDZTOTALK on Facebook. And on Instagram, we Need to Talk Sunday. They're all together. And on YouTube is UTV, YOUTV. Thank you. I appreciate all the love, the support, the comments, and the questions. Looking forward to talking with you again next week. Have a good and a blessed week. Bye.